Madeira is more popular than ever in 2026, yet most people are still doing it wrong. In today's video, we're going to talk about what has changed, what is overrated, and how to do Madeira properly in 2026. I think it's safe to say that Madeira is seeing more visitors than ever, certainly more than pre-COVID levels. This, of course, is creating a little bit of stress in some certain viewpoints. So we are seeing that in some places we are getting overcrowding, traffic, parking issues, and such and such. We're also seeing prices go up. So Madeira is starting to become a little bit more of an elite destination. I believe that it's actually kind of starting to level out to where it used to be, where it should be, should I say. I think that Madeira for a long time was kind of seen as a budget destination, maybe not so well developed, but certainly we are in a new kind of place with this new perspective. And speaking about perspective as well, one of the last things is social media. Social media is, of course, also changing the perspective on Madeira and distorting a little bit of the expectations of what people should expect when they come here. So why should you be listening to me, some random guy on YouTube? Well, I've had my tour operator business here in Madeira, Hit the Road Madeira. We offer 4x4 tours in Madeira and hikes and food tours and all that other stuff. But I've been doing this for 14 years now and living in Madeira for 17 years. So in this video, I hope to give you a little bit of a more background on what true life is and what true vacation life is in Madeira as well. So what exactly is overrated in Madeira? And now you're getting my complete honest opinion as a tour guide here. What I think is one of the most overrated things to do in Madeira is to do Madeira without a plan, to see what happens, to just rent a car and drive around the island. What that's gonna do for you is you're gonna catch all the main viewpoints, right? And you're gonna get them at the worst possible times. Madeira has changed and there are more people here, and as I mentioned before, there are places that are getting busier. So you do want to plan a way to get away from the crowds, to have routes and itineraries, but you also have to be very careful where you get your information from. So thankfully there's loads of information here. You can like and subscribe to the channel, ask us a question. We're here to help. There's also loads of resources that I don't want to get into just yet, but perhaps in the end of the video, I can tell you a little bit more about how to actually attack Madeira properly. The other thing you want to make sure is that you're not too rigid, that your plan is not a 100% plan A. You want to have a plan B. You want to adapt, because here in Madeira things change, the weather changes, and of course it's best to adapt. So you don't want to have something that's too rigid, that's too set in stone. There has to be a good plan B, and this goes for tour companies as well. I can understand, and of course I'm a tour guide, I'm pitching tours. I know that the best way to see Madeira is with a tour, not just me or with anyone, right? But some tours are very rigid. So if you are booking your tours, make sure that they have a good plan B, or even just ask them, right? While you're booking, you can say, hey, listen, what happens if there's clouds on the peaks? What happens if it's raining on the day? These kinds of things, because if you don't have a plan B and you are too rigid in your itinerary, you're gonna have a little bit of a bad experience on one of the very few days that you have on your vacation. Remember, time is more important than money when you're on vacation. You only have 5, 6, 7 days in Madeira. If you're lucky, right? If you're lucky, you have even more, but that's all the time you got. You don't want to lose it on a bad day. Now, what I think is the biggest mistake people make in Madeira is treating the island like a checklist. You know, I want to see this place, that place, this place. I want to eat this thing. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. And the analogy that I like to give is that it's like visiting somebody's house. Could you imagine if you visited somebody's house and you had dinner and everything, but you were the only one there? There was no one else in the house. You could see the house, you could see everything that's in the house, you could taste everything that's in the house, and you could walk out of that house and say that you experienced everything from that house. But how well did you actually know the house? There's a completely different experience when you have somebody hosting you, when somebody is explaining to you where that ceramic plate came from, why there's a dent in the wall, why is it built this way, what happens when it rains. And of course, somebody there and cooking, and there's the smell, and there's laughter, and there's communication, sharing. That is the biggest mistake people make in Madeira. And without trying to sell myself, that's what it is. You want to get in touch with locals. You want to understand where you are and get a little bit more of even what people really want. Most people already want this. They want to be travelers and not tourists. Yet I see so many people coming here and being tourists and not travelers, not respecting locals, not asking people, how does this work, how does that do it, and getting involved and supporting local businesses as well. So that's it. If I've maybe given you some kind of a perspective to think about, perhaps fine-tuning your itinerary and your Madeira plan just a little bit, then my job is done. I can come out? Yeah, okay. I didn't want to ruin the selfie, you know? We had to get out of the rain, and for those of you who know, this is the magic stuff here in Madeira. This is what we call poncha. And in this scene, we're going to talk a little bit about who Madeira is and isn't for. We are at Ponto de Encontro, Bar Ponto de Encontro, one of our favorite little places in Santana. I apologize for not showing you all where the other places were, but if you want to know, you're going to have to chat with us. But this is one of my favorite little places to sit down and have toasted sandwich or a poncha, because they are very, very good here. So really, I'd like to say that Madeira is for everybody, right? I don't think that there's anyone who would come to Madeira and not have a great time. But primarily, of course, nature lovers. Madeira is fantastic for nature lovers. And of course, romantic, any kind of romantic or family vacation is a big one. I used to say, like a lot of us used to say, that Madeira is for newlyweds or nearly deads. You know, but this is now changing. You know, we used to have an older population coming to Madeira, who, in my opinion and our opinion of those of us who work in tourism, kind of understand that they know how to take vacations. Usually older people that have families and things like that, they value their vacations differently. So that's when it comes to the whole time versus money conversation comes from them. But that's we've already spoken about. So nowadays Madeira is really for everyone, but I wanted to give you an idea of who Madeira is not for, and for that I've gotten some help, not from ChatGPT, but from my GPT, our GPT. So if you guys check out our Patreon account, you will get access to my GPT, and you can ask it anything Madeira related. Now this is not ChatGPT, all right? This is our bot that has certain instructions and certain frameworks that work around so that it can be an actually beneficial guide. This is the first version, it's working very well. And I just asked it, yeah, who's Madeira not for? And it says, yeah, it came up with a pretty good answer. So Madeira isn't a do-nothing beach resort island, which is true. If you want to sit by the beach and sip cocktails all day, you're probably better off going to Canary Islands or, you know, somewhere else that's more beachy, Dominican Republic or Mexico, who knows. It's not for people who dislike hills, stairs and walking, unless you're getting driven around, all right? You can very easily escape all of that by being driven around Madeira and escaping the stairs, the uphills and things like that. However, if you're making your own logistics, you're gonna have to deal with that. It's not ideal for nervous drivers who refuse to adapt. 100% driving, you don't have to be brave in Madeira to drive, but you do have to be a semi-decent driver in Madeira. And of course you have to park, you have to be good at parallel parking on a hill. Again, another story. It's not for people who rush and tick boxes. We've spoken about that. It's not for those who fight nature instead of listening to it. 100%. It's what we've done now. We're in Santana at the moment. It's raining, a little bit outside, drizzling. So we've taken some shelter. We're having a drink, a snack. We're getting some work done. And then we're going to move on to another place, which will be nice. And I also wanted to add one more that we actually need to add to the bot, which is nightlife. Madeira's nightlife is a little bit different to what you might find perhaps in a bigger city or in a different destination. So you're not really finding too much nightlife like we know it, at least with the locals, if it's not on the weekend, all right? Usually it's in the summer and on the weekend. During the week, Madeira is dead in the sense of nightlife. So it's not a Ibiza kind of place. Mallorca maybe, I don't know, but it's certainly more nature and so on. So I hope you guys are getting loads of value from this. We're gonna have a little bit, we're sharing this. So this is my half, that's your half. And so how do you do Madeira properly in 2026? I'm going to give you a couple of tips from me. Number one, when I'm planning things, I like to plan one big thing per day. So if you're doing a hike, for instance, plan around one hike. Usually people over plan, they want to do too many things. They want to put too many things on the itinerary, too many things on the plan. So one big thing, and then of course a lot of leisure time. So make sure that you've got enough time to relax, to drive, to plan. On Google Maps it says 10 minutes, take that to get from one place to another, take it as 20 minutes, all right? If it says 30 minutes, take it as 40 minutes, right? So take your time doing things and make sure that you are not over planning. That is the one thing. Number two, let locals handle logistics. Yes, I will always be the guy, and you can hate on me in the comments as much as you want. I will always be the guy to say that you will not get the same experience by yourself. You go with a guide, you go with a taxi driver, you go with a tour guide, even if you just have someone, a host, who is perhaps liaising with you or by text or someone you can call, but have a local help you with logistics. Of course, to find the right locals is a different story. I'm not here to say where and how, but go ahead and find yourself the right person to do the job and make sure that the locals handle the logistics so that you can relax and enjoy your vacation. You want to avoid crowds intelligently, right? Sunset is a great time to be out and about. Usually this is usually one of the kind of tricks that is less used in our industry. Sunset time, the roads are quieter, the viewpoints are quieter, so it's also a good time to be out. I also think that the off season is starting to kind of come back into Madeira. We are now at the end of January and you can see there's no one here. We have hardly seen anyone on the roads. So Madeira is nice and calm in the off season. So in the summer, it's going to be packed and it's going to be busy. You got to pre-book, right? That's another one, that's the next one, pre-booking. So if you're coming in the summer, make sure that your favorite hotel, your favorite tour operator, your favorite restaurant is pre-booked, because all of these places, especially if they are small boutique hotels, operators or restaurants, will fill up. So make sure that you are pre-booked and that you've pre-booked your hikes as well. For those of you who are coming hiking, you have to get the hiking fees, you have to get the hiking slots. Make sure to pre-book the hikes. You can see all of that information here on this page somewhere, right? We've done a video on it for sure. I'm not sure it's number 5. The weather, right? The next thing is you have to be adaptable for the weather. The weather can change in many places. It's not usually so bad. It's not usually raining everywhere in Madeira, but usually it's microclimates. So right now we can see in Santana, there is some clouds. It's probably rainy and overcast in Santana, whereas here it's really nice. On this northwest, we've even got a little rainbow, but I can guarantee you that on the other side of this coast, the weather is different. So make sure that you are flexible for the weather, or that you are going with somebody, a host, who is flexible about the weather. Communication is key. Make sure you communicate this to your guide, to your host, to whoever's looking after you in Madeira, to be flexible on the weather, and of course, to have a plan to avoid the crowds. Number 6, I think, try and avoid the crowds. I know it's a tough one, but we will be making a video about this. It'll be a live video on YouTube. One of our live videos, we'll talk about how to avoid the crowds this summer for sure at some point. So go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification so you can catch me live on YouTube. And you can ask me directly on how to do these things. You can also check out our tour business and ask us as well. So is Madeira worth it in 2026? Hell yes, right? When is Madeira not worth it really? We got this beautiful place. People come here for the climate, for the culture, for the beauty of Madeira. And if you've learned anything in this one video, I guess I'd like to portray that sense of when you do come here to make the most of it. Don't make these mistakes, don't lose time. And that's it really. For those of you who are regular watchers, guys, thank you for tuning in to yet another video, and I promise you there's some great things coming. You know, if you know me well, you know these videos aren't really what I like to do, right? We like to get into history and culture and find real stories, and I can promise you that there's loads of that coming this year, so stick around. Next is a hiking video. We're going to be talking about how to hike in Madeira 2026. We're going to get into the fees, how to schedule your spots, which ones are open, which hikes to do, which non-PR hikes are good. I think this is going to be a nice trend for this year, where people are going to be looking for different hikes that are not official hikes that you don't have to pay for, so you can stay tuned for that. There's loads and loads of great stuff. Remember, if you're coming to Madeira, www.hittheroadmadeira.com, the best tours in the world. Use the promo code Hugo for President and you get 10% off your booking. Book early. We're a small company, not many spaces, and that's it. We're back in Funchal. It's time to get to work. We did good time, hey?
It's getting warm.
It's getting warm. This is gonna come off soon. But before we do that, Andre,
let's hit the road.
There we go. It's the road.
Is that a? Look at that. Look there.
Yeah, that's.
Is that a? What is that? A yacht?
I don't know. Maybe I can zoom in. I don't have my phone on me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We are seeing bigger and bigger yachts and super yachts and things here in Madeira. So who knows? There's like a little boat attached to it there. Yeah. There's lifeboats, and you did say that there's a lot of like satellites, but.
Right? Is that like dishes or
who knows?
Satellite and
who knows? If someone's watching those, let us know. Anyway, it's time to get to work, Andre.
Yep.
Real work. Real work. Let's go.
Cheers.
Ciao.